nicer morning than this. I woke up and it was crisp, calm, frost everywhere. Solid layer of frost on the marlin boat. Beautiful fog rolling off the lake. This is what you hope to wake up to in moose camp, and we just need a moose to step out. Didn't see anything this morning, but as you can see, the wind is blowing out there like crazy. It's our first full day after we came in yesterday. We're gonna gear up and go for a hike, probably out to the west, I'm thinking. Wind in our face, and maybe sit on some four-way lines, and kind of a waste of time sitting on the boat when it's this windy. So probably head out that way, cover some country. There seems to be some sign, there's some moose around, the willows are a little shredded. And we're a bit early, but I think we're gonna hit it pretty good later in the week, so we're gonna get geared up soon and go for a bit of an adventure. Kind of right on the edge of the creek. We've been doing some calling. We're gonna sit here and kind of watch. I know that moose of Darcy's last year, I'm pretty sure made his way down the creek. So have a snack, grab some jerky, take a 2-minute breather, and then probably carry on back to camp for the day.
Fatal Impact is proudly sponsored by Vortex Optics, Wood Wheaton Supercenter, Covert Scouting Cameras, Ole Smokes Coffee, Black Widow Innovations, and the MD of Bonnieville. This segment of the show is brought to you by Deluxe Wall Tents, built in Canada for Canadian conditions.
We're gonna check a camera that we set up earlier in the trip. Actually, the first day we came out, we put up a covert camera, so we're gonna see what's been through here. If there's been any moose through here, maybe we'll end up hunting here either tonight or later in the week, but let's have a look.
Oh.
Early on in the hunt, we wasted no time covering as much ground as possible. With the rut heating up with each day that passed, we wanted to ensure that we were spending as much time as possible in the areas with the most sign. Being confined to a relatively small area, it didn't take us long to key in on certain parts of the lake that seemed to show more moose activity. Morning and evening, our calls echoed around the lake, patiently waiting for a response. During the day, we would sit and watch lines and valleys, hoping to catch something crossing. Moose hunting can be a frustrating game, especially in an area that doesn't hold a ton of moose. About a kilometer from the camp. If we head down that line, but I'm just trying to see if we head down the creek. Probably would be pretty nasty walking though.
Oh yeah. Well, what isn't nasty walking here? It's almost like throwing an air mattress on the water and trying to walk across them.
Essentially, it's a big floating sponge everywhere you step. This is actually high ground here. Like most hunting, it typically comes down to spending as much time as possible in a high percentage area, and eventually, you hope to get lucky. There's a pile of sign in here. So this is a new line that they actually brushed in. I actually saw it from the plane when we flew in 2 days ago. And when we dipped over here, I didn't recognize this line, and I told Shay that we need to check it out. It looks pretty decent. I don't know how far it goes. I know I've seen it comes to a big square out of the plane. Might be a mile, might be 3 miles, we don't know, but the wind's not that great right now though, but let's let out a call. Kinda almost want to get further down. I know the wind's kind of blowing that way. If we can get down, maybe watch this line back, wind will be a little bit better in our favor. It almost looks like it kind of goes there and then maybe turns again. So if we can get to that corner, might be able to see down both ways. It's definitely a bull track.
They're all over this strip.
Yeah, I think we need to get back to that end and then sit there for the night and call. The whole ground just shakes. Darcy and I walked this ridge last year, and there was a ton of sign up in this ridge. So I'm wondering if maybe they go up into this ridge during the day, come down and feed on all these red willows. Over the past 3 years hunting this particular lake, we had covered a lot of ground and found some areas with fairly high moose traffic. However, walking down this new line that particular evening was by far the most fresh sign we had seen to date. It was still early in the evening, but as soon as we made it to the end to set up, I turned around, and out he stepped. Right there. No, there he is. No, he's still coming. He's still coming. Just stay on him. I don't want to shoot him in the chest. Not that far.
Fatal Impact is proudly sponsored by Mad Ramps, Deluxe Wall Tents, Victory Archery, Top Notch Taxidermy Studio, Federal Premium Ammunition, High Mountain Seasoning, iHunter, and Arkin RV. This segment of the show is brought to you by Vortex, the force of optics.
Just let him come. He's going in the trees. I don't know, he's probably gonna circle downwind. We'd have to get a shot there. Oh no, there he is. He's going back on the line. Come on. Get ready. You're on record again. Ready? Oh no. Do it. We did it, buddy.
You did it, man.
We did it. Second day. Oh, I scoped myself. What did we shoot him at? Like
15.
15 yards.
15 yards, and he's right there. Second day. Good job, Dana.
We just walked in here early. We let out a cow call over there, and he'd come out right onto the line looking for it. Cow called a few more times, and he'd come in on a string.
Dude, I told you. Good call on coming to this cut line.
This is a brand new line they just brushed in. He's not the biggest bull in the world, but the problem is up here, we don't see many moose. It's not about size, it's the remote wilderness adventure out here. And we just killed a true wild bull moose, you know, a year from when Darcy killed that giant. We know there's some big bulls here, but we just don't see them. And we can't be picky. Every once in a while, we're gonna shoot a big one. Every once in a while, we're gonna kill a beautiful young bull. Beautiful meat in the freezer. That's the first bull moose I've ever killed. I was getting all excited and I had my Vortex scope dialed because I thought I was gonna have to take him at 300 yards, and then we just heard him grunting coming in on a string.
This is what you wanted. We talked about this flying in, didn't we?
All I wanted was to call in a bull, have him come grunting right to us, and shoot him in our face, and that is exactly what happened. I couldn't be more thankful.
That's what it's about, man.
The federal premium put him down in, what did he go, 30 yards?
Yeah. I don't think he was going to go much farther, but with those moose, you don't know. So.
No, we just shoot them until they're down every time. How much easier of a pack out is this going to be, except for the fact that it's on the muskeg? But
it don't matter, man.
It don't matter.
Memories, man.
I have now drawn 4 separate bull moose tags in Alberta since I was 16 years old. I started applying for 10 years, and in that time I've pulled 4 tags. And for the first time I get to put my hands on a bull, my very first bull moose, on a draw tag. And I couldn't be more excited. Yes. I got my dad's moose call that he made years and years ago. And that's pretty special to be able to call in a moose with that. Guns unloaded. And that is a beautiful young northern Alberta true wilderness bush moose hunt. The truth is, there's not a pile of moose up here. There might be, but it's so thick that you just don't see them. In the 3 years that we've hunted up here, I can count on less than one hand the amount of moose we've seen. And to be honest, we've now seen 2 bulls in 3 years and we've killed them both. I wish that I could say that I could be picky, but to me that's not what it's about up here. To be able to fly in on a tiny little bush plane onto a tiny puddle of a lake to hunt a moose that has never seen a human before. And most importantly, never heard a human call. That adventure is what it's all about. To stay in the wall tent, to hike from camp, to paddle around the lake. It's just so removed from civilization. And in my eyes, that is how a moose hunt should take place. To me, that adventure is worth so much more than massive inches of a prairie bull.
This segment of the show is brought to you by the MD of Bonnyville. Lake adventures happen here. This segment of the show is brought to you by Wood Wheaton Supercenter, a proud supporter of our outdoor heritage.
Oh, first we're going to eat some food tonight because tomorrow's going to be long, dreadful. We got 2 more quarters of moose to get out. We'll have the boat over there, plus get the rest of the moose. Hopefully a plane can get in if the lake isn't frozen over. It's supposed to be -1 tonight. And the next week's supposed to get even colder, so I think tomorrow's our only option, or it'll be the old helicopter, which Dana don't want to do, so I'd prefer not. It's easier just to get out with the planes. It's kind of nice knowing it's the last one.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Last load.
Who says you can't get a moose quarter in a Badlands bag?
It doesn't look very big, but you stretch, you're hoping. What do we got, like 200, 250?
Feels like 5.
To the boat, and then into the Marlin boat it goes. And then we've got about a 1.5 kilometer paddle before the wind comes up. And it sucks. This is the third trip, the last trip. Probably the hardest one though.
I think so, yeah.
It's just like walking over deadfall and a foot of snow. Swamp, muskeg, and a disgusting mess.
It ain't fun in rubber boots, I'll tell you that.
This is the part that a lot of guys don't see when you do a remote hunt like this. There's no quads, there's no trucks, there's no equipment at all. And as far as you want to hike offshore is as far as you have to pack them if you're lucky enough to kill one. So I'm not going to complain too much. Oh.
Done. Done and done.
We made her.
A little perseverance. A little bit of food before bed. And a good toasty sleep.
Well, we got her all packed up. I don't know how we fit it in there. It's like a little mini game of Tetris. An entire camp, tent, all of our hunting gear. The moose is waiting for us out around the point. We packed him out this morning. And now we just have the slow, monotonous paddle to get us out there.
Don't mention into the wind.
Yeah. We're nice and shaded here, but you can see the wind coming through the chute, and we can't even row. We have to take the paddles off and just mosey along. But we've got about 2 hours, I'd say, to get to where the plane's gonna pick us up.
Worst case scenario, we just push off the old shore.
Yeah.
On the weed lines, nice and slow, but